many public entities are having a hard time finding depositories these days because rates are so low. And the collateral that they have to pledge it. In our case, we make them pledge 110% security for our deposits. It's harder to get banks to step up and take the money because they don't have a place to put it. They can't loan it, they can't put it in investments, there's no spread. So bank depositories are becoming a real problem. We've seen that ourselves. Our interest income and stuff is, we got more money in the bank than we've ever had. But our interest income is way down, and God love, we've got Moody under contract for another year, whatever it is. They're paying about 3 or 4 times what the market is right now.
But on that process, treasurer comes to, while the commissioner's court has the final say. Just to say, has Kevin Walsh ever recommended somebody else that the court, or any treasurer, I should say, go back that since your term, that you or anyone has voted against?
No, we've always taken the treasurer's recommendation on the depository.
Is county government more efficient than it was 10 years ago?
In my mind, no question. No question. Sometimes I reminisce. I can't remember all the changes we've made either. One of these days I'll go back and look at the scrapbooks dating back into '95 to see all the things. But technology has helped to a certain degree. But we are so, I look at the way we build Justice Center, Walmart buildings, ag buildings, compared to my first experience I had inherited, which was the juvenile center over in Lamar, Tech City. We handle that whole environment much better. Our road and bridge department, certainly, with the unit system, is much more efficient. Still not there, but our collections and getting the JPs online to standardize operations and stuff is much better than we were. Our social service area is good. There's still too much duplication. As I mentioned, we're going to work on that area. There's a lot of duplication across the county. The concept of the League City Law Enforcement Center, moving the county towards where the county does the corrections and the communications. That's going to save the system tons of money. Whether you say it's a county money, probably not that much. That's some of the issues that happen is the county pays more than its, in my opinion, more than its fair share on some of this stuff. But it allows the cities and school districts and others to get a breather. So are we where we want to be? No. No. We do better. There's areas that we'll continue to improve, but the management of the county is our director. We've got, I'll put Dennis Harris in our parks up against anybody. I'll put John Simpson against anybody. Bonnie Corolla. We've got good people working for the county, and that's what makes a system work. We're a service organization. That's what we do. And you have to have good people. And knock on wood, we don't pay the best. We don't pay probably as good as they can make elsewhere in the private sector. But they're loyal to the county. They've got reason to be here, and they stepped up.
Anything you'd like to say to us?
No, it's I'm a known product, and sometimes you stay around too long. But what I've tried to do as county judge and my style and my personality is, in these jobs, you want somebody who is. The process is the same whether we're trying to figure out what to name the building next door or whether we're trying to deal with Hurricane Ike. We've got methodical processes and decision-making programs in place, and for the big ones and the little ones, we go through the same hoops to make sure we stay focused. And what I want people to know is, hey, when Jim Yarbrough's in charge, you're going to get measured, methodical, steady, consistent leadership. You're not going to get this roller coaster of up today and down tomorrow, and panic today and everything's good tomorrow. I hope that my when we look back on whenever my years end up, maybe this November, you never know. You know, we always did things for the good of the long term. You know, I'll sacrifice short-term attaboys any day for making good long-term decisions. And I was driving someplace the other day, Heber, and it was in Houston. I had to go to a political event in Houston. So I was just kind of reminiscing, you know, what's the best thing you've done as county judge, you know? And what's the most thing you're proudest of? And I'll tell you, it's that 2008 bond election. Yeah, we had that bond election called in August. Storm hits September 13th. Financial crunch hits September 21st. You know, we couldn't get it off the ballot, so we said, hey folks, there it is. 4 or 5 cent tax increase if you approve it. This is basically what it's for. And just let it go, and we started focusing back in on it. All those things passed with 60+%. You know, to me that was a statement that people had confidence in county government and confidence in what we were doing and saying. And that's what, you know, I understand nickel and dime political shots. It frustrates me, this $366 deal. You know, the political side doesn't bother me. I got skin like an alligator. It's about right off of me. But what it does is it undermines people's trust. I don't care if people like me. As a politician, I would love to be loved. I would love to be liked. You know, always. And unfortunately, a lot of times that's how people vote, because they like somebody, not because they're qualified or anything else. But I want people to trust me. I want people to have confidence that when we say something, it's as factually the best I can tell you. And you know, that's where these nickel and dime cheap shots are short term. Long term, they're harmful because people already distrust government. And government's not bad. It really is. And people who work for government shouldn't be viewed with skepticism. And I mean, that's a slippery slope that we're on as a nation that is not good. And we as elected officials have to do a better job to earn that respect and trust. The public's got to focus in on folks that they high integrity that they can trust, because that's all we got at the end of the day. So anyway, I've enjoyed 16 years. I hope I get 4 more. We've got $500 million of money that hadn't hit the streets of Galveston County, so there's going to be some economic ripple from that. Hope certainly how my priority list, Heber, is I don't think the state was ready to handle long-term recovery. As a result, the county was not really in position. We've never done long-term recovery issues, this housing in particular. We talked to it'd be a good phone call for your reporters to make. It's called TDHCA and see where Galveston County is on its housing relative to everybody else's housing. Unfortunately, you'll find us as a shining star. And we're far from a shining star. I mean, 2.5 years is just too long to have housing dollars for the very people who need the money, the housing the most. And so that's a systemic change. That's a change that has to happen up above us. We've got to be ready as a state to handle the federal baton when they send it to you. TDRA is not the right one. We need to have kind of like the Division of Emergency Management, a small agency that works full-time on long-term recovery and then balloons up when we have a need for it. And I want to work to get some of those systematic things changed. It needs to happen.
That's it for me.